Max Kellerman, telling him that boxing's still growing. We don't necessarily need Dana White. We're still growing. What do you guys think about, yeah, him checking in that? You gotta also talk about that too, that boxing is growing without all this stuff of you guys coming in to boxing.
Let me get this one. Listen, boxing is the number one sport all time because you know why? This was the first sport right here. Before you could pick up a ball, before you could pick up a stick, it was this right here. You understand? So when they say growing, they out of their fucking mind. Boxing has always been around. You understand? Boxing gonna always be around. Now here's the thing about MMA. Is it entertaining? Yes, it's entertaining. But them guys get so fucked up, they don't be around too long. You know what I'm saying? Them guys, they might break their motherfucking jaw, they might break a knee, they might break their eye socket. Now they out the game for 8 months.
And not only
Boxing,
that, I like the MMA. I like watching it, but when they go on the floor and they twist it up like pythons, it gets boring. You sit there and watch that, and even the ref make them stand back up to use their hands if they stay down too long.
yeah.
So it's a good sport, but it get boring when you watch two guys twisted up on the floor in bikinis. Fuck that.
Damn!
Fuck that.
Yo!
Fuck
Yo!
that. I'm not watching that shit. I'm not watching that shit. But they
We
upright, it's
can't hear
cool.
you. Go ahead. Go ahead,
And
coach. Yeah.
I'm glad he said the bikinis at the end. I was about to chime in before he said that, but
Killed it with the bikini.
hold on, but the bikinis
The
made me
Speedos.
listen, bro. I remember when UFC came out, I was boxing, I was in the gym. Some people came in the gym, y'all know, just like wrestling, like he talking about. They will be in the gym, bro, in them little tight things on the floor practicing. They will lay down, legs up in the air like the book, and somebody will get between them, and they will be
Man, shit.
getting out of the blocks. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are they doing over there?
Fuck that.
Oh,
I can watch them when they upright, but laying on the floor twisted up. I ain't watching that shit.
Coach Kenny said, fuck that.
Practice that though. They practice that like one would lay down on the ground, would get between his legs, and then get in the
Yeah, yeah,
position.
yeah.
That practice getting out of position. They were doing. They was coming to our boxing gym. They had just started doing it, and they was coming to our boxing gym, and they was doing that around the time the UFC and all that MMA was starting. And I was like, bro, what the hell are they doing over there, man? It was crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the sport is a hell of a sport though. Them motherfuckers rumble though. But
No, they rumble.
no,
I don't
I
want
can't watch that shit for
no part
long.
of it. I want no
Mhm.
part of it.
What
I
do you
got
guys?
bounce, so I gotta get off here, y'all.
All right,
Okay.
Coach. Appreciate you for
I'll
tapping
see
in.
y'all.
All right, Kenny.
All right.
What do you guys think about when Turkey was telling Dana?
What's
I
the
got an
deal?
that Dana has a very important message to give y'all, and then Dana never gives it to him.
I think that I'm telling you about what the perception and the reception, not perception. The reception that they giving is that they getting is horrible. I was there. I was there at the weigh in. I was there at the fight. The reception that Dana White is getting is not good. You got to do what the fans want. It's not good at all. He gonna have to rethink this. Turkey never got booed before. Turkey ain't never got booed. Turkey got booed out there with Dana White. He got booed.
Yeah, that's tough. What do you think about even just now? You got Oscar De La Hoya. He's not messing with them too much. He's not too happy that he wasn't included into the TKO league. Then you got Eddie Hearn saying, "I can't wait to match up with Dana White because he don't got the mouthpiece that I do." And then at the same time, you got Sean Tuttle adding pressure on Dana White when it came down to the Ali Act and fighter pay.
Yeah,
Talking
right.
about the UFC. Now, Dana White got to deal with the UFC questions that the boxing media is about to give you because we give you a different type of media. We're going to ask you some different type of questions versus the UFC. Guys, what's your thoughts on that?
Go
I
ahead,
think,
Greg.
I think, I think Dana White don't understand what he getting himself into.
Mm,
First of all, in boxing, when you win fights to move up in the ranks and make more money, not to fight for minimums. In boxing, we don't always fight for minimums. It's a such thing as negotiating. What happens with Dana White is he don't give those guys a chance to negotiate. And then when they get sponsors and shit, he be trying to get a percentage of all of that. That's it's some promoters that do little shit like that, but that's if you allow them. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like he thought he was gonna come into boxing and just take over because of what he did over MMA. You know, they fuck with him, they love him over there. But it's a different ball game over here because it's not under one roof. You know what I'm saying? And they trying to put it under one roof and control it, but you're not gonna be able to do that because it's too much going on in boxing. Like I said before, boxing is the mob. Boxing is not like the NBA. The, the NBA or the NFL, you know what I'm saying, where it's one boss or it's one owner or whatever. Nah, it's the mob. It's plenty of different teams. It's thousands of teams in boxing. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's too much going on for Dana White, and I don't think Dana White gonna be received well. You know what I
I,
mean?
I completely agree. I don't think he's gonna be received well, and I think he'll get a lot of pushback. And I think Turkey gonna have to change something because ain't nobody finna go for that. Also, the top 1%, because the 1% now, I think TKO, and I'm on record as saying this too. I think TKO is good for the regular boxers, for like the guys coming up. You know what I'm saying? It's good for them, but it's just a stepping stone. So it's good for them to make some money because a lot of fighters can't even make money. They got to work. They got to this. They got to that. So it's going to be good for a lot of fighters. You know what I'm saying? So I don't disagree with it for a lot of other fighters that can't find their way to get it, to get their foot in the game, get their foot in the door. But for those top 1% that made it out of that, he ain't gonna be able to to tie that down because them people are they self employed. You feel what I'm saying? Like you said about the sponsors and everything else, they get their own sponsors. They get their own thing. So he ain't gonna be able to do that. He's not gonna be received well at all.
Yeah, and there's a lot going on too because now they're adding on that now that for these mega rehab cards, it's gonna depend on also what happens in that league. They're gonna give opportunity for those people to jump on those big cards. Um, I don't know about you guys, but the first card on the 4 fight show, they had their prospect guy over there, and I don't know, man. It he was the guy was there to get knocked out, and he didn't knock him out. It wasn't entertaining. I would have rather seen so many Brandon Adams and Sergey Bogatuk could have been on that. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest here. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Because it's gonna be politics are always in boxing, and that's never gonna change.
And that's my issue with Turkey. He trying to show he trying to show that he's in charge, but you're not giving the people what they want. Nobody Nobody knows that kid. You know what I'm saying? Then he was fighting in a 10 rounder with only 5 fights without the pedigree. And like you said, he was supposed to stop that kid. He ended up going 10 rounds with a guy who only been 6 rounds. You know what I'm saying? That kid never really fought no 8 or 10 round fights. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to put on a show,
The
but at
kid
the
was
same
His name
time,
was Crawford too. The kid, yeah,
yeah, yeah. I coached against that kid before last year.
and
Um,
he had decent moments in that
he
fight
did.
too.
He a tough kid for sure. And I think Turkey just don't understand that it's still some things you got to do by the book. You can't just try to pull a kid out of nowhere and tell us he the shit, and then you put him in a 10 round fight on one of the biggest cards of this year, and then he go out there and shit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's shit that he got to learn, man. It's shit he got to learn.
Got somebody that guy with the green shorts on? Yeah, 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 yeah. Now and then the judge's scorecard was a little too wide anyway. So they tried to milk it up for him too. So like he said, he ain't look that great. Ain't nobody asking to see him.
No, he didn't. He didn't look good.
You know,
Um, in my behalf, he didn't look good.
especially not on Canelo Crawford undercard.
What was that?
Especially not on the Canelo Crawford undercard.
Right, right. And now you got Canelo that they mentioned. Turkey said that they got a 3 fight deal